Oh, hey, if I feed Luca Chimichanga plus Aurora, he gets up to the bonus too. That's fun. Marvel Mystic Mayhem already shutting down is so funny. It's kind of funny how we shotted that last week, huh? Last week we were just like randomly looking through mobile game stats. And we came across that one. I was like, oh well, that's done for. I saw a take on YouTube that live service digital TCGs are impossible to monetize properly and keep the lights on, which is why most of them are moving to a physical counterpart and have pivoted heavily into that. I saw, it wasn't Freddy, that was a video from someone who used to make Runeterra content, yeah, if I recall correctly. And I think that take is dumb and bad, just so we're clear. And I think that take really hammers home how many people who profess to like card games haven't really played Marvel Snap in its current iteration. There's been a ton of content creators making doomer content about card games and Marvel Snap and card games in general. There's been a few. And it's been so eye-roll inducing to me to see these content creators making doomer content, and they're like, they list the things that these games do wrong or do poorly, and they just list a bunch of stuff that Marvel Snap got right. Is like what it basically comes down to. They'll be like, these are problems these games can't figure out. And then they list a bunch of problems that Marvel Snap like very cleanly figured out and solved. Mystic Mayhem shutting down. It had so much potential. Could you play it offline after? Absolutely not. Those games are just dead when they go away. I think it's incredibly unlikely that my opponent's super synergy deck has Red Guardian in it. I guess they have Diamondback, so maybe. I don't know.
Taking aim.
I've been like half working on a video talking about this. I gotta figure out exactly how I want to frame it or talk about it or whatever. But like, it's like, what if I told you like this? Yeah, our opponent's completely crushed here. It's like, what if I told you there was a card game where for $10 a month you could have almost every card in the game. And they don't power creep, so if you find a deck you like playing, you can continue playing it for months or years. And they still release new and interesting cards and new content, sometimes multiple times a week. So while you get to continue to enjoy your old classic stuff if you want, there's also new things that you can poke at. I think that description is both basically what every card game player has asked for eternity, and describes Marvel Snap in its current state. And then you could even mix in there has incredible deck building depth, has established meta decks you can pick up in net deck and play, but also there's lots of room to brew and explore and try new things and still have success. Like, it's just genuinely really impressive what they've accomplished. White hot room for a second game in a row? Wake up, sheeple. Even this our current release, right? Like Aurora, like this is like the 4th or 5th deck with a single new card release. I'm like, yeah, this is interesting and neat. How is Snap doing number-wise? Is Second Dinner doing fine financially? So the problem with the question, is Second Dinner doing well financially, is that we can't know the answer to that question. So we can look at App Store revenue, and you can see that App Store revenue is trending downward, but Second Dinner, like most other game companies post-Epic Apple lawsuit, has been pushing their online sales platform really hard where they get a bigger cut. And we don't know how much money they make from sales on Steam and their online web shop. And then the other part of a game like Snap and knowing like how much are they making and are they successful is we don't know what Marvel/Disney's licensing fees look like, right? So like, I don't know is if Marvel Snap, you know, even just App Store revenue, Marvel Snap's still making like $2 million a month almost as of last month. But like $2 million a month sounds like a lot of money, but like, is it actually a lot of money based on whatever they have to pay for the Marvel IP? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think anybody who doesn't have an NDA does. Like I don't know that I could get that answer from someone without them breaking some type of corporate contract. Like, for reference, to give context, we were talking about the Marvel Mystical Mayhem game announcing that they were shutting down in April in 4 months because they weren't very successful. Marvel Mystic Mayhem, since it launched in, I think it launched in June or July this year, so like 6 months, it's only made like $5 million lifetime. And that's a brand new game, and those games tend to make the most money right when they launch. So like, they only made $5 million lifetime. Like, Second Dinner made like $2 million a month on just the app stores last month alone. And that's 3.5 years in. Oh, we could have played him on Spider Island. That's funny. Which would have actually ended up being good with the Great Web, I suppose. I feel for the doom and gloom. I think a lot of the doom and gloom around Marvel Snap and a lot of card games comes from a purely selfish angle from people that don't understand the industry that they work in. I think there are a lot of content creators who hit kind of full-time content status with Marvel Snap content, and they weren't ready for the natural organic downturn that was just going to happen as the game aged, even if everything was going perfectly. Like, for people that aren't familiar with me, like, Marvel Snap's really far from my first rodeo. I've been partnered on Twitch.tv for over a decade. I've been streaming in some capacity for like 12 years. Like,
Gotta run, hun.
I've been doing this as a full-time job for 8 years, with Marvel Snap being my primary focus for the last few. I've been around the block, you could say. Lame.
Victory.
I think if you could go back in time and say, Jeff, it's going to be 3.5 years from now. You had 2 great years of making Marvel Snap content that hit all-time highs for your content. And 3.5 years in, you're still going to regularly hit 800 to 1,000 concurrent viewers on your live stream. Would you be happy with that? I'd be like, yeah, it sounds fucking great. Sign me up. Because it's like, those numbers are like absolutely lower than what they were during the first 2 years, but like, they're also still like really good numbers. And there's still plenty of people interested in watching content for this great game. Yeah, like even today at a holiday where numbers can be a little wishy-washy, like we've got over 500 on Twitch and we've got almost 200 on YouTube. So like almost 800 between the 2 platforms. It would be beneficial, I think, for you to make a YouTube video to clear up misconceptions. I think it's really adorable that you think a fact-based video would perform well on YouTube and would clear up misconceptions. YouTube, like most social media, heavily incentivizes and rewards negative framing of things. And a video that's in a positive framing will absolutely not do anything. And we also live in 2025, what I regularly refer to as a post-fact society, which is to say that creating something that's very logical and reasonable doesn't really change hearts and minds. That's just not how human beings work anymore. Are you going to do another what I spent on Snap this year, or are those the same boat? So I've done previously how much money I made making Snap content this year, but I'm explicitly not doing one of them this year because I am confident that making that video this year would just be used for people to say Snap is dying. Because for reference, to kind of fill in that, why a lot of, I think, the doomer is selfishly financially motivated. Like, my personal income this year for 2025 compared to 23 and 24, I think it's going to finish somewhere in, like, the 40% less range. And again, like, that was expected. Like, I knew that drop-off was going to happen at some point, and honestly, I'm surprised it happened in year 3 and not year 2. Like, year 1 and year 2 were both pretty steady. but it's hard making a video like that, regardless of if I said, hey, this is beating my expectations, that I'm really happy with it still, would just be used for nothing other than Snap is dying, look at how much worse it did for the creator. I think it's just Mercury this turn. Sometimes these decks play Rogue, so I don't really want to play out my Cerebro early. Although I guess I could play him in the Colossus path. If I play Mercury, I can't really play Luke Cage, though. Yes, this conversation started from a couple different places, but one of it was the Runeterra content creator talking about how all digital card games are dying. And then they listed a bunch of problems that Marvel Snap has actively solved, and it's one of the reasons why Marvel Snap's one of the best card games I've ever played. The best card game I've ever played? Let's say the best. It's very good. The 40% drop off in personal income for the year is discounting / normalizing the, normalizing for the fact that there were less donations to split cards. I'm not counting those. Just pound for pound. Income was markedly lower this year. This is close. I could play around a Valk with loot, but I think I'd rather just have an extra 4-pointer here. But you are right. My direct donations were down a lot more than 40% this year in entirety, and no small part due to the fact that like we weren't going on crazy splitting sprees this year. That had a very, very direct impact on that. They have a 2-energy Valkyrie, which is terrifying. I think we play Lucas to try and counteract that, but if they have their Cerebro as well, we're probably cooked. Yes, that's also what Tepik also said is true as well. It's hard / impossible to differentiate / distinct how much of my income going down for the year is the live service game getting long in the tooth versus how much of it is gestures broadly at the economy around us. I talked about this a little bit when it happened, but like for reference, when Trump had his Liberation Day in April of this year, I personally lost low 4 figures in advertising contracts. Like and my manager, who manages like 24 content creators, he lost mid 5 figures in contracts on Liberation Day. From just a bunch of companies who were advertising in the space being like, oh shit, we don't actually know what it's gonna cost us to send our products to places. We're pausing our advertising budgets effective immediately till we can sort out what the fuck is going on. And the US, despite the line continuing to go up in the markets, right? Like most of the US economy is in a recession. Like the only reason, if you look at like stocks in the S&P 500 that like aren't AI fueled masturbatory speculation, like all of the real companies that are like making and selling products, most of them are in the red. It's just purely AI speculation that's dragging it up and along. Narrator, they still didn't know what was gonna happen. Yeah. This list has been fun. I think we've been having fun conversations here this afternoon. Fun, interesting conversations. Speaking of advertising and money, we need to take a brief pause for the cause to let some adverts roll. We're gonna play some more of this Cerebro for Aurora deck when we get back. Thanks for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. Yes, a lot of the stocks going up is the Mag 10 making circular deals, pushing it up, but eventually that gravy train's gonna stop. It's gonna be really interesting to see when the AI bubble finally starts to pop. Is the Fed gonna print money and bury all of us in inflation? Or are they actually gonna let the markets fall like they should organically? There's a very real chance the Fed discovering they can print money to fix things in '08 is just gonna be the new norm. And they're just gonna bury regular people while keeping the market stable. Stable. I'm playing the only real game right now, the $1.6 billion Powerball. God bless. Does Aurora make Spectrum obsolete? You should reread Aurora. I'm going to put it on the screen for you here. Here's a very different card than Spectrum. Very, very different. Reading is hard sense. There's been a lot of Aurora's power crept Spectrum bad takes from people just like skimming things and not actually comprehending. Thank you for the 26 months. Welcome back. I played Aurora at this point in like a dozen different decks, and almost all of them have felt interesting or good. I agree, Mike. She's such a phenomenal piece to be added to the Marvel staff puzzle. I like her. I like her a lot. Really, really sweet design. Oh gosh, are there gonna be other locations? Bacardi, most looking forward to next month. I actually did a full, I like a lot of the cards next month, so I did a full month review on the Hoaglandia stamp channel for the first time in a long time. I love a lot of the dragon designs. They're guess. Do you believe in magic? And this turn 7. Do 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 do. Did they ever release Firestar? They did not. This can move. I know you're not a big fan of Thanos. That actually misrepresents my position on Thanos a great deal. I actually think Thanos is a really sweet and unique gameplay experience in Marvel Snap. I just objectively, individual new cards being added to Thanos don't meaningfully change how the card plays out. So I don't find it particularly fun from a deck building perspective, because the 18 card deck just means it's very samey even when you change 1 or 2 cards. So it's not that I dislike Thanos, it's that I don't love it. Doesn't make a good new card highlight, because the new card doesn't add a lot to Thanos. They played Luna after Spider. I mean, people saying they sequenced this wrong. Maybe they wanted to spread their points more evenly here like this, rather than being all in on a single path. Is probably what happened here. Yeah, they wanted points at 2 spots instead of 1. They gotta win 2 locations, gamers. You're just having the hindsight is 2020 bias, because like you watched them make a play that they could have made a play that beat what I did. You dislike the play patterns of Thanos. That's also not true. Like, did I not articulate myself? Like, did I say words wrong? I'm pretty sure I explicitly said I like Thanos and he's unique and sweet. It's just single individual new cards don't meaningfully change the deck because you're playing an 18 card deck. So it's a bad new card highlight. I think that's about as clear as I can make it. I think Thanos is a fine and fun design. The deck just doesn't get meaningfully different to play because of 1 new card. So I don't worry about it. I don't like testing new cards with it. For reference, we started today looking at a bunch of Aurora data on Untapped, and yeah, there's a bunch of Thanos decks predictably that look like they like playing her as a card. You're just also not going to draw her in a lot of your games, and you're going to win the games because you're a Thanos deck, not because you're an Aurora deck most of the time. Which is fine. It's still a good deck, and Thanos is interesting. It's just not new card interesting. That's a distinction I think is worth making. That's annoying. I guess I could do this, and then I can play 3 1s out next turn. Armor into Luna Snow is fucking toxic, chat. Holy. Wait, they're locked on the right now, yeah? Until, I guess they can move on New York? That's weird. That feels very strange. Yeah, look at how pretty our board is, chat. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Ooh, piece of candy.
Snap. Opponent snapped.
Very nice, very nice. Stack some points here in Asgard. Think I want to go for White Hot Room rather than Asgard? Yeah, we're not playing for Asgard. Definitely cooked over there. Oh, wow, brutalized. They got to have the cake and eat it too here. That sucks. They forgot to move the shield. Oh, Mercury. Mercury means they can't move the shield. Got it. JK, that was a test. Some of you passed. Good job. I mean, this has me winning all three, yeah? Which I think is what we want. Playing for all three beats Thanos. Does not beat that. Yep, and this is, you know, we've talked about why Aurora has felt good, and that's kind of, this is a very similar squeeze to one of the other decks we were playing, which she's really sweet in these builds where, like, you have this big 6-drop that you're threatening, but then she also does this Spectrum-like impersonation where she spreads out points across the board. That being said, was their Aurora worse than Spectrum here? Maybe they're playing both, but their Aurora was worse than Spectrum here, yeah? I guess she added 2 more over here, but Spectrum would have added 6 here and 8 here, and Aurora only added 2 here and 4 here, right? I wonder if Thanos can get away with playing Aurora and Spectrum, so you're just more likely to draw your finisher. Because Aurora's an okay number of points there, even if she's worse than Spectrum. I can see that be a thing worth exploring in the Thanos shell, because you have so many ongoings that are also other things. This doesn't break my Cerebro bonus, I'm like 90% sure. Last time we had the location, it didn't break the bonus. It was good stuff. Good stuff. Black Cat's so annoying. I think I'm just playing Cerebro.
Gotta run, huh?
Airwalker Black Knight. Okay. You have my attention. I'm listening. Thank you, Haley girl. Oh, you brought a fork too? Thank you.
No, yeah, because mommy put the fork in there.
Oh, your mom's so smart. Close my door, please. Thank you. So, the upside to the children being home from school, chat. I don't have to go upstairs and microwave my own lunch. Oh, Aurora won't work here, though, because... Oh, that's awkward. That's sad. Probably dead, then? We might be okay here. Oh, what's their Airwalker pulling? That's a good question. Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. Okay, we won, but their deck is adorable. I don't think I've ever seen Airwalker for Ghost Rider. That's a neat 4. It's a 4 you like really want to draw on the decks that he's in. They're probably a Wild Child deck. That's a good call out. I think that's probably a reasonable conclusion. I think it's this, and then it's like Luke Cage center. And then we finish on Aurora. You know what? I'm probably supposed to Luke Cage this turn, so that way if I draw Claw, I could Claw here. We'll play Kate over here. Get to the extra bonuses. Yep. So we're adding 8 in the center, and we're adding 12 on the right. We're adding 10 on the left. So Wild Child perks up here, but he's not quite enough. Not quite enough to get through. Needed those points in the center.
Victory.
It's a very interesting deck build piece. I just don't know that all the support is there yet. Hopefully Phantom X pushes it up over the top.
Snap. Taking aim.
Cerebro sweating bullets there. Maro's about to be really good against us. Penalize the board. Hopefully she tries to hit Colossus a bunch here. It would be ideal. Colossus, Cerebro, and Hawkeye are the targets we want. Yup. Welcome to the party, Luke. Enjoy your stay.
Victory.
Play more Luke Cage, right? Listen, Luke's in my top 5 most played Marvel Snap cards for a reason, champ. He's my boy. Speaking of Luke, next week is likely, unfortunately, going to be a non-release week for Snap because Phantom X is releasing and he gets countered by Luke Cage. And Morrow also goes in Phantom X decks, which gets countered by Luke Cage. So realistically, next week is probably like Luke Cage re-release week. As opposed to Phantom X is probably one of those cards like, all right, well, we'll just discount the what games where we get hard counter and we'll see if this card really has a chance like the week after. Once we're really able to play with it. Or bring an Enchantress week. I mean, good players will just play their Luke Cage in the last turn of the game, Paul. Everybody talking about just playing counters to Luke Cage, you're showing your entire asshole and why you don't understand what's good, bad, or otherwise, just so we're clear. The fact that Luke Cage works retroactively after the fact is what makes him such a powerful tech card. Who's a TO with the not 1, not 2, but 20 gifted subs? Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you for the absurd amount of support. Happy Wednesday, gamers. Thanks for everybody who's spending part of the middle of their week or their holiday here with us, depending on where you're at in the world. You know, I used to make jokes about people who didn't get gift subs being unlucky, but something you should be aware of Twitch as a platform, chat, is that for random gift subs like that, it isn't purely random. Twitch is actually biased and gives people gift subs who spend money on Twitch. So if you never get random gift subs, it's probably because you don't ever pay to subscribe to people. Because Twitch's metrics show that people who are given gift subs are more likely to re-up with a regular sub in the future. So they prioritize giving them to people who... Whoa! Spicy. GG, opponent. They prioritize giving them to people who actually monetize. Would have won with the claw, chat. Would have won with the claw. Oh, wait, we win anyways. JK. JK, LOL. Now I look like an asshole, chat.
Victory.
I thought we were losing. I forgot we were still winning the center. You mentioning your top 5 cards made me realize I kind of missed the end of month roundups they used to do. Yeah, agreed. Those were fun when they happened. Oh, here's a fun question. I'm gonna put together. I have a couple of end of year videos I want to do for Snap. I want to put together over the weekend. I think one of them is like top 10 Marvel Snap cards to release in 2025. I think Merlin's #1 with a bullet. Gamers in chat, what are some of your top like 3, 5, or 10 Marvel Snap cards that released this year? Hit me for considerations. Yeah, Victoria Hand was the start of the year, absolutely. Man Spider's a good call out, honestly. He's a new archetype enabler. I like that one a lot. Surge was this year too, wasn't she? Yeah. A lot of. I wonder how many 2s there are. Sam Wilson was this year. I think Sam Wilson makes the cut. I feel like as I'm thinking through this list, like good general card acquisition advice on Marvel Snap is just like always pick up 2-drops. Cancun. Rude. Moira's a decent contender. I don't hate that call out. Ooh, Fallen One's a good shout, Derek. Yeah. Am I playing this? I want to play it if I draw Aurora, but I'm probably not drawing Aurora, right? I might just be playing Claw either way. I think it's this. Oh, we win? We win! Sicko, lose Baxter, win the game angle. Close. How does Aurora work in this deck? Aurora buffs a bunch of your 4-power things, and then you keep the Cerebro bonus on her and the things she buffed. So, how she works here. Very fun deck builds.
Taking aim.
Sometimes we're Cerebro 4, sometimes we're Cerebro 6. Exactly. You should display the win percentage on the tracker. I don't display my current win percentage on the tracker because it is a way that people lie through a mission. There's 3 types of lies in the world, chat. Lies, damned lies, and statistics. Contrary to what your significant other told you during undergrad, size matters. So putting a statistically insignificant sample size win rate on my tracker is a way that I could lie to you by omitting the fact that the sample size is small to the point of being irrelevant. You could buff Luke Cage on the right, you have 2 more turns. Yeah, I need to put him there on turn 5 for him to get the buff. But we're curious. What a peak fucking first time chatter interaction. Jeff, I want this thing. This is why it would be lying for me to do that thing. But Jeff, I want it anyways. Yeah, I know you want me to fucking lie to you. If you're gonna be a bad culture fit for this channel, you should go watch a different staff stream. Lie to me, daddy.
Oh, snap.
Data doesn't lie, chat, but liars love data.
Opponent snapped.
One of the truest statements you'll ever find.
Taking aim.
They could also find the win rate on Untapped if they really wanted it to. Trust me when I say someone that cares about win rates probably isn't smart enough to problem solve that themselves. I like how that person's like, we're curious. It's like, you don't speak for me. Exactly. Who's this? Who's this we? You got a mouse in your pocket? See, that's such a better question from YouTube chat than what's your win rate. Jeff, what's your favorite deck to play Aurora in so far? I really liked the Blink deck that I highlighted yesterday. Probably my favorite that I played so far. I appreciate Viv Vision just being a constant dickhead to our opponent and just like not cooperating at all. Ooh, the Pixie Darkhawk deck was pretty good too. Yeah, we played Pixie Darkhawk with Aurora today to start. That was pretty sweet. Someone said YouTube chat is where it's at, and then someone immediately followed that up with, the best win rate decks is the one with lots of Series 5 cards and the one with all the newest cards because their balancing is in that direction. I just want you to know that you're banned now because YouTube doesn't tell you that you're banned when I ban you. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up a data point here real quick. This is my best decks roundup from last week. This is the #1 top performing deck. This was the #1 top performing deck in most of the competitive slices last week. And this was the #2 performing deck in most of the competitive slices last week. Just so we're clear. Hoaglandia isn't like other places on the internet, chat. You don't just get to show up here and lie. I have receipts. I have receipts! I didn't make it to the various opinions I have about Snap and other things by just like making stuff up. My opinions are based on facts and reality, which I know is a dangerous position to have in 2025, but that's one we adhere to. Data over dogma. Yep. I forget what the phrasing is, but there's a mantra I'm a fan of that it's be firm in your opinions, but also hold them loosely, which is what I try to do. Which is how I try to lead and direct most of my life, whether it's card games or politics or anything else in 2025. Which is another way to say that is, I come to my conclusions on things based on only on my experience, but also data and reality. But at the same time, I'm not going to let myself get held down and stick to something and double and triple down on it when I'm presented with reality or data that shows contrary to what it is, right? Like, I didn't come to my conclusions by accident, but also if new information is presented to me that says, hey, maybe I should change my position on that, that's what I'll do if that's what the information really means. Speaking of information and Aurora decks, I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. When Munchlack sent this one over, I was expecting this to be like a 20-25 minutes and we're done and we're moving on. And again, I really just can't emphasize enough how sweet of a deck building game Marvel Snap is, how good their balance is. I just got done playing a deck for an hour that has freaking Colossus in it, chat. Freaking Colossus. And I'm coming to the wrap up and I'm like, you know what? He was good. He should stay. What a just phenomenal deck building game and experience where this starter series card that they gave a 1-point buff to found a home in this C+ B- tier deck that felt competitive. And genuinely, I think this deck has the tools you want to be competitive in games of Marvel Snap. There are two things, generally speaking, that I look for a deck to be competitive in Snap, and this deck ticks both those boxes. The first is, can my deck make a reasonable proactive amount of numbers? And this deck checks that box. We very regularly were hitting 15, 20, 25 plus points of power in 2 lanes. Second, on top of making decent proactive numbers, can we be interactive to disrupt our opponents on occasion for when their numbers are bigger or when our plan doesn't come together? And we have that, right? We have Luke Cage, Shadow King, and Mercury that can be disruptive in different ways. And a final point that's usually present in decks that are good is this deck's not all in on one plan. the Cerebro and Aurora here are two payoffs that can work together when they both show up the way the deck is constructed, but they're also payoffs individually on their own. So it's not like we have to draw Cerebro or we're dead, we have to draw Aurora or we're dead, or we have to draw both of them. Like we can mix and match and have stats either way while also having two great flavors that taste great together. So like, do I think this is gonna be in my highest performing decks roundup when I look this weekend? No, probably not. But at the same time, this deck list ticks a bunch of the boxes that I look for in decks that are off meta and competitive, and we had success with it. I think if you play it well, you can have success with it too. It does the things good Snap decks are looking to do.